Hello, 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 everyone. I think we're live now. Is that the case? All right, so we've got You Can Call Me Al and MichaelO today. Boba Green, or Boba Yellow, sorry, versus Sabine Green. Ba-ba-bum. So let's go and take a look at these lists while we're here. So this is You Can Call Me Al's list. Very interesting Sabine deck. He's got the main deck Ewing reinforcement that has been out of list for a while. I think a lot of people are have it on the side or not at all. Other than that, I think it looks pretty standard. He isn't on R2s, which is interesting. A lot of people have been going towards R2, but other than that, it's pretty compact. Let's see, are they having... They're having trouble loading deck lists. So this is Al's list, and MichaelO's list. He's got Boba Yellow. He's on Snapshot Reflexes, which is sort of interesting. Outer him the Headhunter, which is also really interesting. So I'm excited to see how this list works. He's got some interesting tech choices, but overall, I mean, pretty standard. Pretty standard Boba Green or Boba Yellow. Sorry, I'm not used to this deck being like top tier, but yeah. I think we had like 3 of this deck in the top cut. I can go and show the bracket right now. So we had 1, 2. Is it just 2 Boba Yellows make the cut? Yeah, I think it might be. I think 2 Boba Yellows, 1 Boba Green. The Boba Green one looks like the other Boba Yellow lost. So we'll see. And I'm just going to go here and we're going to get started. Oh, shoot. What's going on? All right. So we are going to get to see hands. All right. I'm just going to give the go ahead to start. So if you're just joining us, this is Top 16 Take the Initiative League Season 3. You Can Call Me Al versus MichaelO, aka Random Hero on TTS. You Can Call Me Al is on Sabine Green, and MichaelO is on Boba Yellow. And yeah, there is no stream delay. They having some difficulties. It looks like Al is having some problems. Not sure what's going on. All right. Yeah, I think MichaelO should be favored in the matchup. The Boba Yellow deck can, in some cases, just straight up go faster than Sabine. And even if it can't, like it can play the long game better. Like it has it can go over the top of it. It's, you know, they say you want to be a bit slower or a lot faster than your opponent, and I think the Boba Yellow deck can be a bit slower than Sabine. Normally, which I think is good. But in some cases, it can even be faster, which, yeah, it's just really, really strong. There is a token if you go there. All right, so we're getting started. Looks like MichaelO has the initiative. And he has the Good Morning Guards in the opening hand, which is strong, and the Viper Probe Droid. I'm imagining you're just sending away Crafty Smuggler and Change of Heart here. Maybe Greedo also, but I think I'm keeping everything else. Yep. And on Al's side, double Foracaz in the opening hand is interesting. Sabine and Wing Leader, those are like... This is a really interesting hand, because this is a good hand going first, but he's going second. I'm not sure if Al's already mulliganed. If he hasn't, I probably would. This is definitely going first hand. And he's keeping double Foracaz. Which, I mean, I think that's right. Especially because we can see the Bodhi is going to strip one of them. All right, and Sabine's going to come down. She is almost certainly just going to get eaten by the Viper next turn, which means the Swing Leader's going to do nothing, which means Al has the top deck a play for turn 2. And okay, he drew the Fighters for Freedom, which is pretty much perfect. I'd be resourcing the Swing Leader. Yep. That Fighters for Freedom is actually a really good draw because it's going to get... It looks like MichaelO's play is almost certainly going to be Bodhi. Maybe he goes for 7th Fleet, but I think it's going to be Bodhi. And the Fighters for Freedom gets around Bodhi very nicely. And it also has Saboteur, so it'll get around the Warring Guards next turn. And okay, it is the 7th Fleet, not the Bodhi, which I think makes sense, seeing the Fighters come down. And knowing that there's double Foracaz. Ooh, that's a... He keeps drawing lots of events, but... Let's see. Metal Ceremony is pretty strong here. If you go K2, especially like... Let's see, well... I mean, you're not going to K2 ambush a Warring Guards, probably. I mean, maybe you could. But you wouldn't get to use Metal Ceremony on it. But if you can attack with Fighters and Sabine this turn and play Metal Ceremony, that's good value. And so the Rebel Assault's going away, which I think is wise. And after a weird looking opening hand, You Can Call Me Al is starting to take control of this game. Like ECL on this K2 looks really tempting here. It looks like a pass there from MichaelO. And here comes the Sabine. Hal seems to not be going for the K2 play. Maybe he's just going to hardcast K2. Or no, okay, no, he is going to go for the ECL play. Yep. I was thinking maybe he gets greedy and tries to do that next turn, but that's, I think, foolish because you'd lose the Fighters for Freedom first action. And yep, he is going for the damage. Makes sense. And oh yeah, that is another paying from the Fighters for Freedom. And so Al's going to get to play this Metal Ceremony now. And now he has 2 big units, and he's ahead on damage. Boba coming down next turn for Michael, but he's not going to be able to kill either of these units by himself. Waylay could be a pretty strong play here to get rid of the Fighters for Freedom. But it can't get rid of Sabine. You Can Call Me Al as Echo-based defenders. That's another weird thing. I didn't mention that when I went over the list, but yeah, he is playing the Echo-based defender. And that's been one thing that's come out of a lot of Sabine lists. All right, yeah, there's the Waylay on the Fighters for Freedom. Which means either Bodhi or Boba can come down this turn. Michael did play a Viper Probe Droid earlier, so he does know about these 4 causes. Presumably, I mean, he doesn't actually know for a fact that both of them are still there, because it was turn 1. He does know that at least, you know, one of them was in the hand at one point, or at least 2 of them were in the hand at one point, and one of them, yeah, I think it's a safe bet to say that one of them probably still is. So here's Boba, leader coming down. Al doesn't really want to play a unit into it, because whatever he plays, either defender or fighters, is just going to get killed by Boba immediately. And so Al, you know, does have a pretty good setup here, but like he needs to close. He's got to do 14 more damage. He's got 2 4 causes in the hand. One of them might get stripped by this Bodhi. You know, this Boba deck can really turn the corner pretty quick with Cunnings. They can make up a lot of damage and do a lot of defense simultaneously. So here comes the Bodhi. And so one of those 4 causes is going away. That defender's going to get eaten by Boba. Sabine could go to face, which will bring Michael up to 20. Furakaz puts him at 24. He's not quite there. Michael is lethal in 2 turns. There's a Rebel Assault, but And so let's see. Michael has the Fire Spray in hand for 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. He can do 10 this turn. That's not quite lethal with Fire Spray, but it is going to be lethal next turn, even if he doesn't play the Fire Spray. I think MichaelO is going to get this one unless Al can really pull a rabbit out of a hat. Yes, well, it is. Yeah, because it's no good to me dead. I think that's gonna do it in for Al, because he can go attack, put Michael to 20. If he plays the Rebel Assault, it's 21. Fire Spray max gets you to 25 in that scenario, and he doesn't play the Rebel Assault, so it's gonna be 24 if he plays it. Maybe 25 if he gets to stick the Fighters for Freedom first. But then no good to me dead just prevents this Sabine from attacking next turn. You take 10 damage to the face. Let's see. Al can play Fighters for Freedom here. And if that draws a Boba attack, that could be big. But yeah, let's see. So Fighters for Freedom. So I don't know. I think if you go for a cause here, then you go to 24, you go to 15. Rebel Assault. Yeah, okay, so he goes for the Fighters for Freedom. Boba might be forced to kill there. So let's see. If Michael goes no good to me dead on Sabine, Sabine can attack next turn. Fighters can. Fighters plus 4 cause this turn is 25, plus Fleet Lieutenant next turn is lethal. So there is definitely a risk in leaving the Fighters for Freedom alive. If he kills it, and all right, so he's gonna leave the Fighters for Freedom alive. That could be the lifeline Al needs to win this. So here comes the 4 cause. I don't think. I don't think he knows about the Rebel Assault, so that could be big. All right, so that's only going to be 4 coming in from the 4 cause, 3 from the ability, and 1 from the Fighters for Freedom. So having the 4 cause next turn is I don't know how relevant it is, because I think the game is going to be over by the point that it becomes relevant. So like if this Rebel Assault goes off, Al's gonna get it. So Michael has to play no good to me dead. It would be on Sabine. And yep, he sees it, so he goes for it. So that means, well, Al can actually still get this if he goes. See, Rebel Assault is 4 to base, plus 4 cause. I think Al's actually going to get this one. And I think I think Michael might have been better served by killing the Fighters for Freedom. Because if he did, he dealt 4 less damage, so Al would be at 14. But he has 9 on the board right now, which puts you to 23, plus Fire Spray in hand seals the deal. But this way, like, you can lose to, I think he is going to lose. I don't know if there is a winning line for Michael in this situation. If Al just goes, attack base and then for a cause. The winning lane would be surprise strike, and I don't think there's anything Al could do about that, but obviously Michael doesn't have it. And so Al has an action here. Maybe he's thinking about like killing Boba because that would dodge surprise strike, but then he doesn't have a winning line. He has to attack. He's thinking it through. We can see it here, but it does take some time to think it through if you can't see the opponent's hand. And he takes the attack. And it's going to be one action. I guess, theoretically it's possible for this for cause to miss, but I mean, 1, 2. Did miss once, but that's not enough. And You Can Call Me Al takes it down. Look at that. And if Al, it's, these kinds of aggro mirrors come down to small decisions. Like, do you kill the fighters with the Boba or attack with base? Or attack the base with it? And Michael chose to attack base, and it ended up not serving him. No, I say you shouldn't have resourced the second buddy. I think it made sense at the time to do it. But yeah, I mean, you would have been better off. Yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously you would have been better off having it, but yeah. Why would he not have played the Rebel Assault? Would have been so painful to pull 2 steadfast off for a cause. Yeah, I mean, there's not really a reason to not play for a cause, or not to play Rebel Assault there. I guess maybe he thought he didn't need it. Or wait, is there like, maybe does cunning is a random card, right? Or is it a chosen card? Because maybe he wanted to keep his hand padded in case of a cunning. Let me Google to check if it's random or... Yeah, cunning is a random card, so maybe he wanted to keep the card there. And I think like, so if he had pulled 2 steadfast and the fighters had died, then yeah, that would have been it. But he would have had to... the world where that hurts him is the world where he has double steadfast on top of the deck and Michael kills the fighters for freedom. Other than that, I believe steadfast are the only non-hero cards in his deck, so it wouldn't have hurt him. The only issue would have been another Bodhi. Yeah. So let's take a look at these lists again while they're doing siding. Michael's got, I don't know what all comes in this matchup. I don't know. I'm not sure if you bring confiscates and such, but I don't think you do. I imagine the Viper's going to come in. I imagine Shoot First is going to come in. Maybe we see Bounty Recruit, but I'm not sure. And Al has got, he's got Bright Hopes. Maybe that comes in. I don't know if any of the rest of this comes in. Maybe you want Spec Force soldiers to deal with the Gamorrean guards. But other than that, I don't know. Boom. And they're already getting started with game 2. And this time, Michael has the Cunning, which is pretty much the key card for this Boba deck. Yep. All right. Oh, shoot. Sorry. Whoa. What's going on? All right. Sorry, my cameras are getting messed up. All right. And we're getting started. Here comes Viper Probe Droid. It looks like the opening for Al is double Spec Force Soldier, which is not bad in this scenario, I guess, because you get this something that can survive and take a wing leader. And there's no events for Bodhi to hit. And going into round 2, double wing leader, interesting. Okay. Totally different game with Cunning in hand. Yeah, absolutely. Cunning will basically negate this wing leader. Definitely looking a lot worse. I'm interested to see if he goes shoot first here to take out one of these Spec Forces and keep the Viper alive. And yeah, he does. I think that's a wise move. So imagine we'll see the wing leader come down. I think he's debating whether or not to attack first, because there is the potential of getting it waylaid. Now obviously it doesn't have the waylay, and we can see that, but if he did, it would definitely be a mistake to wing leader. And he does go for the wing leader first. Bodhi's gonna come down and hit nothing. God, wing leaders against Cunning on Sabine, guys. Yeah, I think the second wing leader probably will go on Sabine, if that's possible. Ooh, it looks like he just resourced the second wing leader and he's keeping both K2s. And there is the first cunning of the match. Going to bounce that Spec Force Soldier, kill the experience. And I imagine +4 to Bodhi. Yeah. Yep. Keeping 2K2 is kind of risky here. I mean, here he can go like ECL, prevent himself from taking 7 from the Bodhi, and that's not bad. And then I guess he has like the second one for next turn, but it's not going to be ECL'd, which is kind of weird. MichaelO is definitely in a much better spot this game than last. Boom. Oh, he's taking out the Viper. Okay. So being a bit greedy there. Which, I mean, you're going to take 7, but if you think you can be greedy, go for it. You can also play Metal Ceremony here, which on 3 targets once Sabine comes out. So that's, you know, there's good logic there. And we're going into a new round. Hal's actually looking pretty good. There's a second Bodhi. And he's got Gamorrean Guards. Gamorrean Guards is like theoretically pretty strong to Sabine, but Al's been able to answer it very well last game, and he's probably going to be able to this game with that K2 out. And Al also has a Spec Force. Sorry, in hand to potentially negate the Sentinel for 1 turn. And Michael knows about that because he put it there, but he is going to resource it here. This is the Boba deploy turn, for what it's worth. And it looks like he's going to resource the second Bodhi again, keeping double surprise strikes and Gamorrean Guards. You really want to clear that K2 before the Gamorreans come down, because it eats it right up. But if you do it with the Bodhi, then you have to deploy the Boba before it would gain Sentinel. So, bit of a trap here for Michael. All right, so there we go. There's Gamorreans. And I imagine K2 is just going to eat it. Oh, he's going to honorable sacrifice just for extra advantage, I guess. So it's 6 attack going into or 7 attack, so it's 3 overwhelm. So, you know, I don't say something. I think it's a good thing. Yeah, I don't have a problem with them playing slowly, but like at a certain point, I am gonna ask them to pick it up a bit. Not good hand for Boba. Yeah. No for cause, which does matter, but this Boba deck has been completely grinded out of resources. K2 is going to come down here. Boba's going to have to clear it, I think, and then Honorable Sacrifice on the Wing Leader. Oh, it's, yeah, it'll be lethal with the K2 damage. So I think Al might have wrapped this one up. Generally, I think a pretty unfavorable matchup for Sabine, but Al's pulled it through. A cunning here would have been big for Michael, but he didn't get one. And that's basically just a concession. An Honorable Sacrifice with K2 is gonna get there. Wow. Now this game, pretty surprising game. Look pretty tough. Yeah. Wow. And you can call me Al. Taking it down 2-0 to move on to the top 8. Let's go and take a look at that bracket while I get it updated. As you can see, one of the big flavors of the month was Krennic. I think we had 4 different Krennic decks. Yeah, 4 Krennic decks. 2 of them so far have made it. One of them was through Mirror, so it lost. There's another one playing later. So you don't have to play Cunning on T3. So Yellow Bow is going to spin. That's such an easy time. They weren't too nice one. Wow. Interesting. Better turn Cunning plus Gamorrean. I mean, like, the Cunning was pretty key on turn 3, I think, because it dealt with the Wing Leadered Spec Force. Otherwise, that would have traded into the Gamorreans, and I think you would have been better off playing the Cunning. But there's certainly an argument for... Whoa, whoa. But yeah, let's see how this needs to update. Yeah, okay. So we have, we also had 4 Sabine decks in the top cut along with 4 Krennics. And 3 of them so far have moved on. I believe 2 greens, 2 yellows. One of the yellows still is yet to play. Rebel Resource is gonna play against Thork. A matchup that I think could go either way. Krennic versus Sabine. We had, our other Sabine Green and our other Sabine Yellow both won, and they're going to face off in the top 8, Eroth and Hippo. So yeah, we also had Voltor's Boba Green, the only Boba Green player in this top cut. Yeah, so many Krennic all of a sudden. If you're just disappearing in a local meta. Yeah, Krennic is great. He's been under the radar this whole time. People have been sleep on in favor of Iden. But he does have like advantages over Iden. Like the big one is that he can play Steadfast Battalion to kill Bobas, which is, that's important right now with Boba being very popular. So all right. Well, thanks y'all for tuning in. Stay tuned for more Top Cut action. And always remember to take